Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We've played every mission of the mainline Halo video games, and now we're playing every mission from the rest of the games of the franchise in chronological order. Each episode will be discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts spread on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the Halo mission from Halo Wars 2 on the next episode. If you like what you hear and want to support the show, visit Podcast Evolved on Patreon. You can also receive an audiobook trial by visiting audibletrial.com/podcastevolved. This episode, we're debriefing the Foundry mission from Halo Wars 2. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
I will name this scarab Fluffy 2.0. She is beautiful and strong. R.I.P. old Fluffy.
Do you remember the old, that's back in Halo Wars 1.
Yeah.
We got a scarab. We get a scarab again.
Fluffy 2.0.
Both games.
This is Red Fluffy.
Last mission was Under the Dark. Jerome 092 and Alice 130 arrived at the Enduring Convictions gravity lift, but were quickly shot out of the sky by heavy defenses. A team of snipers were then deployed to rendezvous with Jerome and destroy a banished base nearby. Meanwhile, Alice commanded a group of Kodiaks to bombard the turrets and reavers defending the gravity lift. With the banished defenses eliminated, Jerome and Isabel boarded the carrier, accessed the glassing beam, and began to melt the Ark. Thousands of Sentinels arose to defend Installation 00 and ripped the Enduring Conviction in half, stranding the Banished on the surface. Now in the Foundry, the Banished are using a portal at the Foundry to board the Halo that Professor Anders unlocked from the depths of the Ark. Alice 130 and Douglas 042 are deployed to stop their migration, but a series of barricades stand in the way. Cutter orders the Spartans to hijack a scarab that's being repaired nearby to blast through the blockade and stop more Banished from teleporting to the ring. The date of the game is April 2nd, 2559. We are now in Act 3, the final act of Halo Wars 2. How are you guys feeling about that? Feeling good?
I like this game. We're quickly approaching the point where we do not have any more Halo games to play.
Well, there's that. But also the end of the game. Are you feeling good about the, where we're at? You feeling strong? You feeling like you know what you're doing, David?
Yeah, I am. Like in terms of the control, like I have now like the units I like down. I know what I'm building for the most part. You know what I mean? My bases are looking pretty standard. To be honest, but like it's normal. You don't really need to vary. You can pick and choose as you like. I built a crap ton of stuff in this mission that I'm kind of interested to talk about.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Nice, Krista. I mean, I bring it up because I remember Halo Wars 1 and us talking about the ramp up. Every mission is a little bit of a tutorial and giving you more and more and more and more toward, and it's not until really the last couple of missions where you really have everything at your disposal. It's a similar journey. In Halo Wars 2, where we've continuing to get more and more at our disposal. And I feel like this mission is kind of and maybe we'll find out if we do get more toys in the next mission, but I feel like we got a lot at our hands. We can upgrade almost everything more than once. So they're giving us quite a bit here.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with ramping up while still making it interesting and not saying, oh, here, you have everything.
Yeah.
For the last couple missions, which Halo Wars 1 did a little bit. It wasn't like obnoxious, but I think like this one we have a scarab. It's super fun. You have to blast through barriers and stuff like that. So I like the variation.
Yeah, when Halo Wars 1 had the missions on the ship, on the top of the ship.
Yeah, those were
so that was
cool,
a little bit of a change up, yeah. So, and we've had some change ups in I forget what they refer them to, like a little break missions where you can go back and just do some basic stuff. You get a little armor.
Yeah, like the quest.
Yeah.
Kind of the
so
questy.
they've done a good job of mixing it up too. So, all right, David, can you take us through the mission briefing?
Okay, here we go. I got it. I'm here. So, okay. Captain Cutter goes, about 30 minutes ago, we lost contact with several of our landing parties in the new Halo ring. Shortly thereafter, we received confirmation of a large Banished invasion. No surprises there. Anders, when a new ring is launched, the Ark activates access points so Sentinels can finalize preparations. Atriox must be using these points to send his troops up. It's very clever. Captain Cutter says, we have to stop the flow of banished reinforcements getting to this access point before our forces in Halo are overwhelmed. Once that's done, we can send our forces up to clean off the banished off the ring. Anders says, and Captain, if I may, please try to limit collateral damage while you're down there. The Foundry is literally the birthplace of the Halos. There's so much we could learn from it about slipspace, gravitational manipulation, or building the biggest guns in the galaxy. Just don't blow it up. Because, that's what we do in Halo. Blow shit up. And then the mission pretty much kind of begins.
Yeah, so just to recap that, I guess, since we blew up their ship, and they don't have a lot of, they have Banshees and stuff that they can fly one unit over. But have we seen any Phantom? I guess we've seen Spirit drop ships. So maybe they can get Spirit, some units over there that way. But
I think the distance is pretty great though.
Yeah.
What you kind of need to think about. Maybe you don't realize it.
Right. We already have a contingent or, some armies up there on the Halo ring. Cutter's saying, hey, we got some people up there, but they're gone now, or we have lost contact. And it sounds like the Banished are figuring out a way to get up there on the Halo. And so they're using these, what they just call them access points. So somehow around this Foundry area, that's where these portals are that can then get units back onto the ring. And they say that they're there so that Sentinels can get up onto the ring to do stuff, I guess. So anyway, it's interesting. I feel like this mission needs a lot of setup, and they're trying to do that here, and then there's some more setup here in a little bit. But the mission summary is push back the Banished invasion to reach the Halo's control room. Is that right? To reach the Halo's control? I guess the control room allows... Maybe that's where this access point is. Within... that's interesting.
Well, you'd want to get to the control room pretty sharpish, because I think that the standard layout of a Halo was kind of known now, I guess.
Yeah.
Even...
But they don't talk about the control room in this mission at all. Maybe that's the next mission, but...
That's probably the briefing, though,
where
you're
they're
right, they
going.
don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Probably where they're going, yeah. The scouting report is blister back artillery units have been spotted in the area. Use Cyclops units to take them out. Well, not if they're in the air, but if they're on the ground, yeah. The objectives: capture the damaged Scarab, eliminate the Scarab commander and his support, breach the defenses with the Scarab, protect the Scarab. Lots of Scarab objectives.
I wonder if is there a Scarab in this mission?
I think there is.
Really? I couldn't find it.
Establish a base, destroy the Banished base to stop them from reinforcing the Halo, and then drive off the remaining Banished. There's a lot of objectives in this mission. I feel like it's not even that long, but it's just kind of the beginning of the mission is get the Scarab, and so there's lots of little steps in order to do that. The optional objectives are cripple the 3 Banished production facilities, prevent damage to the Scarab, and destroy the Banished fortress in under 20 minutes. The bonus objectives are destroy 25 base structures with the Scarab, destroy 15 blisterbacks, kill 40 squads with the Scarab, and destroy 15 Banshees with infantry or Wolverines. Part time was 20 minutes, although the strategy got screwed up again. It's at 44. All right, scoring goals. Gold, 135,000 for gold. Silver is 60 to 134. And bronze was 19 to 59. There are 2 skulls that you can get. This you can unlock Wovwoo, and that is a brilliant one. If the Scarab survives the mission, you get Wovwoo, so just keep that thing alive. And as we've talked about in the previous Halo Wars, the previous Halo Wars game, Scarab and Locust Beam weapons shoot rainbows made of pure love and hearts. And then the description also says, maybe Atriox isn't such a bad guy after all.
Aww.
I actually activated that skull for the first time in this mission. Or I think I did it last mission, but didn't realize it. It's really good, yeah.
Yeah. The second skull is sugar cookies, and the Scarab needs to have health above 25% when you end the mission. That one is all players' units have 50% more hit points, and the final score decreases. Krista, what's in the toy box?
Oh, so many things. Our hero units are Alice and Douglas because Jerome is falling through space with Isabel.
Right.
We initially get a command center, which is the fire base we have. With 7 slots, we can upgrade it to headquarters for good results. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you get like 1 mini base and then another fire base, right?
Yeah, there's another little... No. Oh, yeah, there is another fire base. And then
It starts at 3 slots, and then you can upgrade it. Yeah, and then you have a 2-slot mini base. All right, so we have some base defenses turrets, which you can upgrade to anti-infantry, anti-vehicle, or anti-air. And you have the siege turrets.
Yeah.
Which are very nice. We like the
good.
siege turrets. Our units are Marines, which you can upgrade to grenade throw and combat tech. Jackrabbits, I don't know what the hell those are, but you can get a mini frag launcher and a support drone. Sounds great.
So I think we talked about last mission. Where did these jackrabbits come from? I did do a little research. Well, I just read the Phoenix Log, so that was my research. But in it says that that Isabel had the blueprint from her time on the Ark. So somewhere along the lines, the UNSC developed the jackrabbits, and the Spirit of Fire didn't have that access to that. So once they met Isabel, she gave them the blueprints, and they started making jackrabbits. There you go.
What a waste. Our structures are supply pads, which you can upgrade, generators, which you can upgrade. Our barracks, which have an infantry upgrade 1, 2, and 3. The barracks has Hellbringers, Snipers, and Cyclopses. Hellbringers can be upgraded with dispersion nozzles. Snipers can get active camo. And what is that? Stanchion sniper system. And Cyclopses can get shock rounds. We have a garage. Vehicle upgrade 1, 2, and 3. We can get Warthogs and upgrade them with a Gauss cannon. Wolverines, Scorpions, which we can upgrade a canister shell. And then finally, last but not least, we have our air pad, which you can upgrade 3 times. We have a Hornet, you can upgrade to Wingman. We have a Nightingale. And we have Vultures!
Hey!
Yes!
Finally!
Give me
They return.
all of them. And then, of course, we have the Armory Advanced Logistics 1, 2, and 3, which speeds up troop production. Reinforcements 1 and 2, which both of them you can get plus 20 troop population each time, for a total of plus 40. So 120 troops you can play with. And
That's
then we
some
have...
good math.
It's really good math. I'm just a genius. Fortify 1, 2, and 3, which strengthens the base and boosts turret health and damage. You could probably do that once or twice. You don't need all of them.
No.
We have
You
our
don't
Spirit...
really need them at all.
No, not
They
really.
don't really attack my base.
We have some Spirit of Fire abilities. Restoration drones, which can be upgraded 2 times. Archer missiles, which can be upgraded 2 times. Battle Hardened, which can be upgraded twice. Locust Mines, which can be upgraded. ODST drop, Turret drop 1 and 2. R&D 1 and 2. And Holographic Decoy for some reason.
You gotta do that if you really want to.
And we
You
have
don't burn
Banished.
the resources.
Guys, I haven't gotten to the Banished units yet.
Oh, yeah.
Those still exist. Alright, so we have our hero unit, which is an elite honor guard. His abilities are Mercenary Rage, boosts everything. Mercenary Wrath, boosts everything again. And Unseen Blade, boosts everything again and permanently cloaks. Oh, goody. Excited about that. We have our ground units, Grunts and Brutes. Jump Pack Brutes, Elites, and Hunters.
I didn't see any suicide guys.
No, I didn't either. We have some vehicles. We got Choppers, Reavers, Wraiths, and Locusts. Fun stuff. Our air units are Spirit Dropships, Banshees, Engineers, and Blister Bags, which are super fun. And we had no leader powers. I was waiting for that glassing beam and it never came. I thought it was going to just yeet my Scarab immediately. Just like, you know what? Fuck your Scarab, it's dead now.
But if you think about it, canonically, that glassing beam's coming from the Enduring Conviction, and that Enduring Conviction ain't up in the air anymore.
I would imagine the
that makes
Vortex
sense.
Lightning probably comes from that as well, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe they thought about that. We'll see.
Maybe they did. We'll have to wait till the next 2 missions to see.
Yeah.
And once I see that Ventral Beam, I'm going to be really angry. There's nothing in orbit to glass me. What is happening?
Right.
You can just summon plasma out of thin air. Okay, I'm done now.
Do you guys have any thoughts on the new units? So the Vulture is our Vulture that we've come to love from the original game, and then this Blisterback thing. It's pretty cool. It floats around and shoots stuff, and then you can put it on the well if you hijack it with one of your Spartans, which spoiler
you should, yeah.
You can then put it on the ground, and then it'll be like a ranged turret type situation.
It's got a crazy range on it, too.
It does.
It's super. It's crazy ranged. You can pretty much get out of there. It moves fairly quickly, so you can just pop it back up and fly it somewhere else, and then put it back down, and just keep doing that over and over again. It's a really interesting unit. It can be an air unit while it's floating, so if you have, people who can only attack ground units, you're immortal, basically, when you're in the air.
Yeah.
And also, if you have a bunch of air units assaulting you, you can put him on the ground and he just shreds through them. Mm-hmm. So it's a very good unit. It has a lot of uses. I used it a lot in whatever multiplayer and stuff when I was doing that in Halo Wars 2. I remember making just armies of blister packs.
Yeah,
it's pretty devastating.
It's the answer to the Kodiak, right? Because the Kodiak, will then hunker down and be able to shoot.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, it is. Yeah, a deployable.
It's just faster, better utilization.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an all-around better
has more
unit.
Armor, but yeah.
Yeah.
Is more.
The blister
they
pack
wreck
can
shop
move
in this
more,
mission though. They're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we talked about the setup at the beginning and how the Banished are using this. I don't know, this portal. They call it access point to then get onto the Halo ring that's now floating above the Ark. And then there's a little more setup that the mission starts out talking about we need to stop them, but there's a barricade in the way. So Captain Cutter says, we don't have time to try and blast our way through every second we wait. The Banished are moving more troops onto the ring through this access point. We've got to reach the Foundry and stop the Banished boarding the ring. And then Anders chimes in and says the Scarab's plasma beam could easily destroy the Banished barricades if we could capture it, that is. And then Cutter says, I know just the people for the job. And he just happens to have 2 Spartans at his disposal. So the whole mission, at least the beginning of this mission, is we got to get to the Scarab first in order to then blast our way through these barricades. And the barricades are rock, which is also a little weird. They're not like structures that they built to stop us from getting to them. But anyway, so why don't you take us from there, David? The opening scene is, our little contingent of our little army pretty much getting smoked before we drop in our Spartans.
Yeah, so there's a small little base kind of here that's allied. I don't think you don't actually get access to it. I think it stays allied to you, doesn't it?
You do at the very, once you build your base,
it becomes yours, does it?
To it. Yeah.
Oh, I never actually went back to it. So there's a base with some ODSTs actually sitting there waiting, kind of holding the ground. There's a lot of forces coming on top of them, a bit of a mix of everything. And then you hear Cutter come on, we're going to clear the way for you right before we drop reinforcements. And you get to see a double line of Archer missiles get launched.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope. I wasn't too sure what was happening because I was like, I was trying, you have control of the camera, so it's but you don't have any units. So I was like, what the hell? And then double lines of Archer missiles kind of crash down. It looks pretty cool. And it wipes out everything that's in front of you. So I was like, that was pretty fucking dope. And then you get dropped off these 2 mega pelicans, because it's like a cartoon clown car of the shit that pops out of this fucking these 2 pelicans. So 2 Cyclopses, some ODSTs, 2 Spartans, and 2 Scarab tanks get dropped down. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's ridiculous.
That's why they're crashing all the time. They're overloading the stupid things.
They've just crammed in full of crap. So that's pretty cool. These are pretty fun units to start off with off the bat, because it's a good mix of units. And obviously Douglas and Alice are pretty dope. Douglas has a rock launcher and Alice has the chain gun. And so you pretty much just fight these kind of units at the start, and kind of it starts off pretty linear. You have a small kind of corridor to work your way up to the actual Scarab. So it's pretty simple. You're just kind of moving up. It's kind of introducing you to the long range of the Blisterback. and kind of showing you the kind of range it has, and there's some troops kind of around, and you pretty much should just take over the very first one you see because they're pretty fun to use after that. So I had one for a while. It died pretty fast after that, but you just loads them in this map, so I was constantly grabbing them and moving them around and stuff.
There's a bunch of resources along the way that you want to grab too.
Yeah, there's loads, and it is worth grabbing because I found myself pretty hurt with resources at the start. Now, I did drop in ODSTs before I even got a base, just to have more units on the ground.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I found myself losing some troops fast enough. These small little kind of banished outposts you kind of meet, and that's, I think, like Colin said, it's one of the secondary objectives to beat these. So they're worth taking out because they just drop units all the time. And one or two of them actually reveal little areas for you to take over yourself and build a little mini base. It's kind of fun. You just kind of move your way up through the map. There's nothing really special here. Do you know what I mean? You just make your way up.
It feels like when you were just running with Alice. Remember those early missions?
Yeah, it's exactly one of those. It kind of feels like that, but you're a little heavier equipped. You got the tanks and whatnot. It's cool. I did use a few like healing drones to kind of bring my units back up, because I was taking a bit of damage. When eventually you make it up to the Scarab, it's covered by a big shield, a big dome. And you get introduced to like an elite zealot, which is pretty cool. So there's a nice little back and forth where he's like, you're not stealing my things, demons, blah, blah, blah.
You got like, stupid excellent faces and I hate you.
Yeah. And then Douglas is like, oh, great, I haven't made a zealot in a while. Which is pretty much a callback to like, were they zealots? They probably weren't zealot actually.
He's an honor guard is what he's referred to.
Honor guard, sorry. Yeah, honor guard is the word. So he's like pretty beefcake, as you imagine. So you kind of fight your way around the Scarab, and you can go left or right. It doesn't really matter. I went to the right around it, and the zealot just I keep calling him the zealot. The honor guard just pretty much charges you. There's a bunch of jump pack brutes here. There's lots of I think there's a brute chopper or two kicking around, and there's a lot of mix of vehicles in here. So just be careful what you're using and fighting. I lost a bunch of units fighting the zealot. God damn it, the honor guard making my way up. Get there. Yeah, he just runs in with dual swords and starts slicing through on my ODSTs. So I was like, oh shit, get the Spartans in there to tank. So it's not too difficult at all. Once you kill him, there's a little kind of cutscene animation where Douglas jumps onto the Scarab and pretty much takes it over.
I first thought it was a man cannon, but it's not. It's like he just jumps off that computer console that the honor guard is on.
I thought he was going to walk up and push something to deactivate the shield or something, as opposed to just jumping off it and just jumping onto it. So anyway, it's pretty cool. And then immediately you get like a little cutscene, and then you have like full control of the Scarab, which is pretty damn fun.
Krista, how did your battle with the honor guard on Heroic go?
So by the time I got to the Scarab, I didn't have many troops left, so the rest of them died pretty quickly. But I got most of the infantry out of the way.
Okay.
And so I just had both of my Spartans take blisterbacks, and then I just didn't press Y on the blisterbacks, and the honor guard couldn't do anything.
Oh, because he couldn't reach you.
You can't reach you, so I just sat there and just let them murder him with no consequences. It was great.
Nice.
At one point, I was like, I had both of them like on either side of the Scarab, so I would have one go on the ground and shoot him, and then as he walked up to him, I'd press Y again and then do it to the other one. So I was like,
oh, I like that.
Making him run back and forth.
You're like playing a hot box with him. That's good.
It was pretty
He's
funny.
He's like running to one side.
Because he'll immediately aggro on whichever one's on the ground. So you just have them far enough apart that they can still hit them, and then he has to run back and forth.
Oh, I feel so bad for him. You just toyed with him.
He's not very honorable anymore.
No, he's very dead now. I played on normal and heroic. I've been trying to do a heroic run. And he was very difficult for me when he killed all my army, and I had to restart the mission originally, until I did figure out that same strategy where you just kind of float with your blisterbacks up above and then take them out. But then you don't have any units left. When I played on normal, I at least had some units to get to the next space.
Oh, you're about to get a Scarab. Who cares?
Yeah, that's true. But then I was worried about my objectives and keeping it healthy and all that sort of fun stuff.
Oh, you don't do the objectives when you're on heroic.
Yeah. Because you don't need to. Like we've talked about it in the game. The game doesn't care what
difficulty you do it on. Yeah, you do it on easy and you get all of them.
Yep, and then you're good. There's nothing, no difficulty tied to all that stuff. So, yeah. So it's fun having this Scarab. You guys want to talk about Scarab a little bit? The animation of this thing, it's so good. It seems
really cool.
so alive. It seems like an animal, doesn't it?
Like every once in a while, like if you just have it idling, it'll like just kind of move its legs around a little bit, like tip tapping a little bit, but it shakes like the entire screen when it does that.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then when
great.
it blasts, is it the focus beam? Is that what it's called?
Scarab beam.
When it shoots, it like rears back. And
yes.
It, like, really just gets into it. Yeah, it's super cool.
It's very well animated. It looks great.
And it's got a little spinning thing on top that's, I don't know, it must be powering the beam. Yeah, it's very cool. It just feels so powerful. And I don't think, I mean, it's been a while since we played Halo Wars 1, but I don't think that Scarab had this level of animation. It had some, but it was more just plotting, if I remember correctly. David, any more thoughts on the Scarab, just having that thing at your disposal?
It's pretty awesome. The Woview skull is so much fun. It just totally, the first time I saw it and the locusts were shooting and we were shooting each other, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It's just,
right.
It's crazy to look at, but it's a really clever skull, to be perfectly honest. It's really well done.
Yeah, I'm glad they carried that through. I mean, they could have changed it a little bit, but I'm happy with what it is. So, very cool. So we advance to so we blow up this rock. Again, it's a little weird that they say like there's a barrier or blockade in between us and where they're at, but it's actually a rock, like stone.
Also, like Scarabs can just walk over that shit too. Like they're very versatile vehicles. 'Cause if you remember in Halo 3, like the Scarabs were fucking walking over buildings and shit.
Right. That's a good
so
point.
I mean, it could. Yeah. You're clearing them to get your troops through, but the Scarab could easily walk over it.
They did make a comment somewhere, and I think it's in the trivia as well. This Scarab crashed from space, so it's actually damaged. That's like an impact crater of where it landed.
Okay. It like
fell
off the
so
conviction.
Like that's why there's there's weapons it doesn't have that it does if you build it normally in like the multiplayer and stuff like that, or you face it normally. So like
it was just kind of to nerf it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It could be that like it just isn't able to do all that because it's damaged and stuff.
Yeah, because it's damaged, it's being repaired, but then all of a sudden Douglas just jumps on it and starts using it, and it has a full health bar. So yeah, that makes sense. I like that. And the other thing to notice is if you look at where it steps, it'll step and then it'll cause a bunch of cracks around in the ground. The cracks do disappear, but it's cool that they're there originally.
So good.
Yeah, Krista, why don't you take us through this base building and just kind of your approach on this second half of the mission?
Yeah, so I got to this part and I'm like, oh, there are vultures. That means I need to get them immediately. So I built three fully upgraded generators, an air pad, and the rest all supply pads, upgraded supply pads.
Okay.
And I used that double mini base as well.
That's pretty much what I did.
And then I just waited to, initially I of course was waiting to get the base upgrade, which is 1,500 lightning bolts, which takes a while. But in the meantime, I made some Hornets and some Nightingales, and I got the second base, which is you just destroy the rock and it's right there.
But did they attack you at all?
I got a lot of forces.
Yeah, me too.
If you move too far forward, they send a massive force on you, which I did at the start.
Well, no. So even if you don't destroy that rock barrier.
Oh, I wasn't. I kind of destroyed the rock pretty quickly, actually.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I made a small kind of thing of a small platoon of Hornets and Nightingales, and I just went for it.
Gotcha. And then you found the big army on the other side.
And I put Alice in a Wraith and stuff like that. It wasn't awful. And then by the time I was like halfway through that huge horde, the vultures started coming out. So I had the vultures, and then I just took over that base and then upgraded the base. I don't think I upgraded it to 3. I upgraded it to 2 just so I could have all the pads.
The second base that you get.
Yeah, and then I made sure to drop all the turrets down on that. And then I just filled that base with another air pad so that I can turn out some other units while the other ones focused on Vulture and upgrading the air pad. And then I put the armory, and I upgraded my thing to 120, and then I did the adrenaline or whatever it is. I have it in the notes, yeah. The units are made faster. And then I did like one fortify. And then and then I assaulted the base with like 6 vultures, a scarab, and just some hornets and like 4 nightingales, and it died pretty much instantly. For the base at the very end, I just hit Y over and over on the base, and it was so satisfying to watch like every single vulture just hit it with the missiles.
Yeah.
It died instantly. It was fucked. And then I won.
I bet.
It was great.
That's awesome.
I had a good time. It was surprisingly easy.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The timer, it talks about that objective to defeat that base in 20 minutes or something like that. I don't think it starts until you get to your initial base. So you can take however long you want to get the scarab. But then you do get a timer. I think it gives you 30 minutes to get it, but the objective is 20 minutes.
Yeah, I had like 10 minutes left on the clock or something like that. So I mean,
yeah, nice. Did you didn't go get the other little banished bases on the top and the bottom of the map?
No, I just got the base you start with, and then the 2 main ones. That's all I really needed. Also, it's heroic, so I tend to not do as much exploring on heroic. I just kind of focus on the main objective. Yep,
that makes sense. Any differences for you, David?
Not as much. I didn't have as many vultures. I only had 2, and only about 2 nightingales. The rest I did with hornets.
Oh, okay. So you didn't do
popped out a bunch of cyclopses.
Any scorpions?
No, I didn't do any scorpions actually. I did mostly air, and I did like the cyclopses with the shock rounds, so I built a few of them. I also built some snipers because I really liked them as a unit. So I had a few of them going around. Like they died pretty quick because I sent them way too far forward. But I had. Because they ran into a blister back essentially, and they were fucked. But I was like, okay, I've had my fun with them, not building anymore. But it was fun. I pretty much did more or less the same thing. I took way longer than I needed to, kind of exploring different sides and stuff. And then at one point, I kind of left the scarab at the top before you assault the first base, and then like they sent a shit ton of banshees at it, and I was like, oh crap. So I had to drop in ODSTs, I had to drop in a turret. I was like, I had to bring all my forces back up. I got totally caught off guard there.
So they attacked the second base, is that what you're saying?
They did, yeah. And then as soon as that happened, I was like, fuck this. I just grabbed everybody and moved up.
Nice. And there's like a little, so you defeat that base, and then there is a little bit of, I think it was one of the objectives. It's, where is it? Drive off the remaining banished. So you destroy the base, and then there's a couple blisterbacks and a couple other enemies just to clean up, and the mission won't end until you do that. I did go, because I've been getting the objectives, I did go to the top and the bottom of the map, and it didn't take too long. There wasn't a whole lot of banished dug in there, but I think every time I went down first and just cleaned up, there's a little turret and a little mini base down there, and a couple of resources and whatnot. It kind of gives you something to do also while you're building up your building up your army. So I just sent I sent a decent contingent down there just in case, but there wasn't a whole lot down there. You don't really need the scarab, but I walked the scarab down there, and then went to the top. And I was also trying to get the objectives. You need to destroy the base buildings. What is it, 25 I think, with the scarab. And so in order to get that objective, you have to go and clear out both of those spots to do that. So I did that, and then I did a garage and air pad approach. So I built up some Wolverines. Again, the Wolverines and infantry for one of the objectives need to take out a bunch of Banshees. So I built a couple of Wolverines, and they come in handy. I think the Wolverines are a better unit in Halo Wars 2 than in Halo Wars 1. They seem to be, just more effective. And maybe there's more air units from the Banished, I don't know, but they seem more useful for me. So they did a good job against the Banshees, and then the Blisterbacks, if they were floating around, they helped clean those things up. Built some Scorpions, and then the rest were Hornets. I think I built one Vulture maybe, and a couple Nightingales before I assaulted. I don't remember building any Cyclops, a couple Marines here and there, and maybe an ODST drop, but for the most part, pretty standard fare. The one thing I did do on the second base is I did build turrets up around it because I think my first playthrough it did get assaulted by that.
Yeah, I did actually. I built some siege turrets up there. They were fun.
Yeah, but siege turrets.
My snipers. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, siege turrets are nice because they just kind of pepper that big battle at the very end. Because when you do move your entire forces up there, you're like, oh crap, there's a lot of units here. So it is this big giant battle, and you really don't have to micromanage it that much. I feel like I just kind of plopped everybody in the middle, and because of the Scarab and everybody else had decent veterancy at that point, they cleaned it up. So this mission wasn't too difficult. And I had the thought at the end, it's like, is this mission easy, or am I just finally, do I know what I'm doing? I feel like at the end of this mission, knowing that we're getting towards the end, I'm feeling good about my skills at this point, and I don't know if it's a combination of, hey, you have a Scarab and that it's just badass, or I actually am getting better at the game. But yeah, this mission helps make you feel powerful going into the final two missions. Let's see here. Anything else about the main mission you guys want to mention?
It's pretty cool. Simple, basic, but I like it. It was fun with the Scarab. They made a good, fun mission.
Yeah. There was, I was looking at the notes. What was the little tidbit? Oh, I'm forgetting what it was. But they did play in the development of the mission. I know they were playing around with the Scarab and like how to integrate that. Oh, I think they made the Scarab an optional objective at one point instead of like you had to go get the Scarab to complete the mission. But I'm glad that they kept it in as like, hey, everybody gets to experience getting this Scarab.
Yeah, I think it was a good idea to make the Scarab like the highlight of the mission.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to mention, Douglas has lots of fun. Like, remember when he came in and what did he take a Wraith right away when he came back from being down? And then he gets to drive the Scarab too. It's like, come on, give Alice a little bit, you know?
Oh, Alice can do whatever she wants. She's a strong, independent woman. She doesn't need no Scarab.
Well, she had a couple of missions, so that's good. And they gotta give Douglas, they gotta balance it out. I think amongst the three. So Douglas does get to drive this thing.
Alice has the personality of the group.
Yes.
I don't know. Douglas is pretty fun in this one.
Douglas says some stuff.
He says some stuff. Oh, we need to get you one of these, Alice.
Yep. And he says, when he takes it over, he says, "This sure beats a warthog," which, that's a decent line.
Could you imagine 2 Spartans with a Scarab?
Oh, God.
They would just blow up everyone. It'd be great.
They would. Scarab battle.
Oh. Spartan v Spartan Scarab battle.
I like it. Yeah, I think that's all the major stuff that I wanted to chat about. So, any trivia, David?
Small bits. This is, like I said, the Scarab on this level is not equipped with Thrasher missiles due to the damage sustained in the crash, and is therefore unable to attack air units. Orda Val Sahim, who appears in this level, also appears in a few of the Phoenix logs. I'm guessing that is the Honor Guard. This is the only time an enemy Sangheli Honor Guardsman is faced in the campaign. There you go.
Yay!
That's what I got.
I'm trying to think. Remember those conversations with the Banished? Remember it was like S and D or something like that? So there's probably not this guy, is it?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Well, S and D are the Oni agents.
They're the Oni agents.
Oh, but I thought one of them was an elite.
They were interviewing an elite, I think.
But they were talking about the interview.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Let's see here. The other thing. Oh, there is a little end gameplay cutscene, and the Scarab is just immobilized at the very end, and then you see Alice and Douglas go up to this access point, and then they actually get excited about meeting up with Jerome, which is kind of cool. And
well, they're a team. They love each other.
The red team is reunited next mission. Ooh, that'll be fun. What about the Phoenix logs?
All right, we got 2. The first one is Enduring Conviction battle reports. These are just various battle reports kind of from your campaign. They're all incoming R- and then a 4 number, 2 sets of 4 numbers, and they each change. I'm not going to read out all of them because there's like 12 of them. Not really. So they probably either mean the unit or maybe the time that they were coming in, but I'm guessing probably the unit. These are probably unit numbers. Alright, so incoming. We have spotted a small human vehicle force on the southern spire near the ruined human settlement. No sign of a larger strike force, but all brute forces in the area should be ready to mobilize in the event of a larger human assault. The next one is humans routed from my area, many dead, one of their demons immobilized, the other missing, presumed dead. We have secured prisoners for interrogation and sport. The next one is the humans launched a surprise assault against Decimus's salvage operation. Superior numbers forced Decimus to return to base. Decimus has been ordered to report to Atriox immediately. All banished outposts to be on alert for further human assaults. Ooh. This is like literally the campaign.
Yeah, right.
Supply deliveries along the southern spire. Supply lines have slowed significantly. Rumors delivery outposts have been lost to human forces. Temporary reroute the emergency supplies underway. We have also reports of several communication blackouts at one of our settlements. Seems to be a small second force operating independently of the main force. Reinforcements sent down to bolster our base. They eradicate this problem. Ooh. Next time is cartographer lost to the enemy. It is believed humans managed to recover information from Decimus's base, and location of portals controls are now compromised. Decimus reassigned to protect likely portal targets. Uh-oh. The next one is loss of captives to the guerrilla forces. No survivors, but garbled reports from the Ungoi forces of an unknown translation. Rumors of this unknown translation are unsettling the Ungoi forces, and there have been several deserters. Suggest deserters are executed as an example, and anyone spreading rumors of unknown translation are punished. I'm guessing that's the Spartans, maybe?
The Alice mission?
Yeah, maybe. That's when they were starting to make rumors of the demon and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Reinforcements of our outer portals underway. Enduring Conviction has finally been ordered to engage the human ship directly, although Enduring Conviction's shields are under assault from enemy ground cannons. All local banished forces to immobilize and neutralize enemy threat immediately. Hergok on board assure that the cannon is a little threat to the hull and the Enduring Conviction. But losing our shield could leave us open to other attacks. The next one is, Enduring Conviction has lost all shields. All available Hergok to be reassigned to repair duty immedately. No sign of orbital counterattack. Assault against Spirit of Fire continues. Incoming. Alert, we have been... ... Report ends.
Okay. So they took it up through there. Okay.
Gosh,
cool.
It's a long one, yeah.
Yeah.
This next one is not as long. It's called The Snake That Eats the Tail. It's by unknown author, installation 00, date 01/14/2555. Once again, the humans have damaged installation 00 with their war, children allowed to run rampant and unchecked. Oh, it's glitching. Okay. It was spelled weird.
Okay.
Correction. Like children allowed to run rampant and unchecked. These are truly one of the ones destined to carry the mantle? Perhaps it is heresy to question the librarian's plans, but one's thoughts tend to wander and dwell on forbidden thoughts when one has been left alone for so long. How long has it been now?
So is this Tragic Solitude?
It is, yeah. It is.
Cool.
It's said as unknown author, but it's Tragic Solitude. 2555 is when Tragic Solitude kicks the bucket, so.
Yeah.
How long has it been now? No matter. I cannot help but question the wisdom of my masters. After all, there have been countless battles, and each time the only difference seems to be the names of those involved. Can the universe really be shod and bridled like some common beasts simply to serve the wants and needs of petty organic life? I have had time to think, had time to do little but watch the events unfurl, and to my senses there has been no advancement. If a rock is cast into the water, no matter the weight of the force of the ones who hurl it, it creates few ripples quickly and is submerged into the calm lake. Its purpose, then, to simply upset the stillness, albeit temporary? If so, then surely it is selfish, prideful need for immortality in this sentient being, and a need which we cannot encourage. After all, they have only hurt themselves. No, the real truth is the universe is cyclical and must maintain its stillness, infinitely returning to its source. Installation 00 must be maintained and returned to its former state, and those who have done it harm must be dealt with. It is time for me to get to work. So that's Tragic Solitude. If you want to learn more about Tragic Solitude, I would suggest Hunters in the Dark.
Yeah, because Hunters in the Dark must take place after this.
Yes.
After that. Quote.
Yeah, because Tragic Solitude's not around for this game.
Yeah.
He doesn't make it.
Aww.
All right, so the locations, I forgot to mention that. One is near the Scarab Repair Pit by the Debrief, so we can find one of those Phoenix logs, and then the other one spawns nearby when you destroy the Banished base in the South Basin. So that must be... I don't know what the directions are for this. So anyway, there's another one that pops up when you destroy one of the bases. All right, let's do community, and we'll get out of here. Dave, what you got on Facebook?
Facebook, Colin Perkins created a poll. Ooh,
what?
Saucy. Admin on the 17th of August at 3:46 p.m. If you could control one non-hero unit via first-person mechanics in Halo Wars 2, what would it be and why? Question for Mission Debrief, Halo Wars 2, Foundry Mission. So we have Scarab, Vulture, Cyclops, Condor. That's pretty much how they voted. Everybody wanted those Scarabs.
Oh, yes.
Then the Vulture and Cyclops. Via first person is a weird option.
Yeah.
We also
so
have...
trying to tweak the question in a way that wouldn't be the obvious, like Scarab isn't the obvious answer, but...
Vulture is the
first person
answer.
Mechanics. Yeah, I mean, you have Guilty Spark in there. Well done, Richard. That's pretty good. And a bunch of other stuffs. But, like, the first person mechanic, like, the sniper makes sense because it's an FPS guy, but controlling a vehicle is weird in first person.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
a good point. Mm-hmm.
I guess a Cyclops would just be like a first person shooter as well, like because of the nature of what it would be.
Yeah, it's like your
would be something similar. Yeah, I'd like a Vulture. I think that'd be cool.
That would be super cool. I'm not sure how it would work. Like for like the Scarab and the Vulture, you'd have to be like third person behind the vehicle.
You'd want it to be, but like the Vulture would be okay because the like I think it'd be fine. There's lots of first person flight ready.
I mean, we've done a Pelican. It would just be kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. We've got some comments. So Hayden says Cyclops would be great, but I think a fast-moving vehicle like a Jackrabbit would be really fun in an FPS Halo, especially in open world levels and custom games. So they took it that way, which I think is more interesting. Like, not that you're in first person in this vehicle / unit, but that it's in a first person game, i.e. the game pulls you into third person. It's like, yeah, a Jackrabbit probably could be fun in an open world game. The Scarab, why? Because it's a Scarab. That's right, Jesse. The sniper minigame in Halo Wars 2 would be amazing, especially the ability to target specific units during a fight from first person would be pretty cool. I like that. Would have loved something like Operation Spearbreaker to be done on Halo 3 ODST engine. Fuck yeah, buddy, Richard. That's what you're talking about. That's a game. David Dusenberry. The Vulture would be pretty epic. It's kind of like a Halo attack helicopter, like a direct action Black Hawk carries people and rains fire. Yeah, that'd be pretty dope. Manny says Cyclops, obviously, since Xbox reviving the old Halo version of Mech Assault would be the bee's knees. Yeah, I remember Mech Assault. Scarab could use the horror in the Marine's eyes as I obliterate them, definitely. Richard says Guilty Spark, so I could choose not to kill Johnson. Choice. Storm says I'd say ODST, especially Boomerang Company. Granted, we played them for a while, but in the campaign story base would be pretty good to continue their efforts. I agree. That's pretty good. That's some good answers. I like the where people's minds went. Cyclops is obviously better than the other crappy Walker. the Mantis. So like I'd rather
Oh,
go Cyclops than Mantis.
really? You just hate that thing.
Yeah, it's just not fun.
Cyclopses can
It's not
run,
fun.
so I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
Are-
do you remember the cut scene? One of the first cut trailers had like a Cyclops jumping over shit and like running into battle.
yeah.
Dope.
That's true.
Mantis ain't gonna do that.
All right, thank you, Facebook. What does Discord have to say?
All right, so there wasn't a poll, but it's the same question. Cass says the obvious answer is Scarab, to be honest. Beyond that, I think the Blisterbacks and the Kodiak would be absolutely great fun to control. Prophet of Rhyme says Scarab, easy, win against all my enemies, won't be able to stop my path of destruction. Third says nothing beats the simple joy of driving a warthog. Matt says Decimus, boss mode, orbital strike, so much HP. As a player character, you could run legendary without dying. So, you'd be able to beat Decimus. Pope says, does the Cyclops count as a vehicle now that it's an infantry unit? Because I really like the Cyclops. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
You can play as the Cyclops. Claptrap says a lick. Or a lich. It flies slowly and there are shades on either side. Yeah, it would be fun, I guess. Jedi Spartan 38 says any hunter variant. Barlet King says ODST unit we could really do for more first-person shots of dropping from orbit. And finally, Shadow of Oni says, I want to play as a pelican so I can feel what it's like to constantly be a failure. ... Oh, wait. That's my favorite.
Yikes, I like it.
I like it too.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone, for participating. Send us your thoughts. We always love reading those. Only a couple chances left. Well, for the main campaign here.
You still have to come up with more questions, Colin.
Yeah, I know.
I
rack my brain.
You know, all of the Awakening the Nightmare ones can just be flood questions.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Wait, what? There's flood?
Huh?
Spoilers?
It's Awakening the Nightmare. What else is a nightmare?
All right, that'll do it for a debriefing of the Foundry mission from Halo Wars 2. On the next episode, we'll be covering the Halo.
Huh?
Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Podcast Evolved on Patreon. And don't forget that free audiobook trial. Visit audibletrial.com/podcastevolved. Until next time, evolve.
Evolved!
Evolved.
There's a Halo in this Halo game.